So you see I have used an attribute here. So this is a custom attribute which we just added. So if you think in a way, we created a custom HTML tag, and our tag is now able to work with an attribute that which we declared. Our attribute name is manager, and it's receiving the same value as this employee.isManager. So I believe it should work now. Yeah. So what's happening now is when first time John is rendered, it gets isManager value as true, and it goes ahead and displays the icon or the badge. And if you look at our manager icons component HTML here, it checks if show star property is true. If it's true, it goes ahead and displays this span and this class, which is a font awesome class. And for the other cases where the isManager value is false, it simply hides it. And if I open my developer window and go to sources, and if I okay, to open a file from here, we must type Control P and manager icon.component.ts, and I'll put a breakpoint on ng on change, and I'll just press it. So you will see the first time this is some different breakpoint from yesterday. So you can see for the first row, as soon as it rendered, it called the ng on change, and it set the manager value as true. And if I go to the next line, the show star value is true, and which is what ng if directive is the structural directive of ng if gets and displays the icon. And then similarly for the next time, you will see it's false, and for the rest of the tree it will be false, and we will be able to see the badge here. Okay, so do we have any question till now what we did here? No. Okay, so good. Next, what we'll look into is handling events. So there will be scenarios when we want to handle events in our nested components, and also we want to create custom events. So in Angular, we want to create custom events and send data out of our nested components. So to do that, we must handle some events in our nested component, and we can handle events in a very similar manner how we do in normal HTML events. So
Salim,
here,
can you talk a little bit about which file you're going to, where you're taking the code from?
yeah, so okay,
Those following us can also go to the same file.
okay, sure, Sam. So I'm currently in the fourth file, which is handling events in nested component. So here what I will do is to my div, I will add a click event. And so this click is an Angular event that Angular gives us. And to handle this, we will write an onClick method. So whenever our div has been clicked, our onClick method will handle the click here, click event here. And to do that, I'll just copy the method of onClick here. So for now, what I'm doing is I am simply logging the event and saying that, okay, is a manager. So the row that you click is a manager. I'll just remove the breakpoint from here. Okay, so now if I click here and go look for my console, you can see that the event was fired and it was handled by Angular. So is a manager has been logged into our console.
Okay. Salim, one quick question. So in the real world, when we are building the application, where would this type of a feature be useful? That you click on a row and then you want to capture that event. So can you
Yeah,
talk a little bit from a real
yeah,
world scenario, please?
yeah. In a real world scenario, we may have some buttons which we are using as nested components. So we may have a small widget where we have a drop down and we want to use that drop down in multiple components. And we want to uh, handle the on change event. So whenever a data from the drop down is changed, there we can handle the on change event here. And we will
Okay.
use that nested components in multiple places.
Okay, beautiful. And I've
And
seen in some applications when you click, it has a pop-up and it gives you more details about the record. Can we use the same feature in such a scenario?
yes, Samir. So there is something known as the model pop-ups that we
Okay,
can
okay.
use. Yeah, and model pop-ups are usually built as nested component, but we normally what we do is we use third-party libraries. So if we go ahead and use some UI component libraries, they already provide us with model pop-ups and all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we have seen how we can handle an event here. Next, what we will do is that uh, when we handle an event, we may want to send some data back to our parent container component. So what is mean that just like now I say that we may have a drop down, and when say we have country drop down and we have selected a country, and we want our parent container to know that okay, this country has been selected and you give me the data back. So to pass data from a nested component to our container component, we use the output decorator in uh, in relationship with our events that we handle. So if we go to our next code snippet, that is the fifth one, passing data from component. What we can do now is I'll create a custom event now and I'll name it manager clicked. And this manager click will be of type event emitter. So what event emitter is? Event emitter is a built-in class that Angular provides us, and it resides in the angular.core library, and it expects it works as it expects a generic type. Here we can pass any object here. For now, I'm passing string, and I have to initialize it using the new keyword here. So what I am saying is that manager click is of type event emitter and it expects string, and I have went ahead and initialized it. But now it will not be passing any data out of here. So we need to use the output decorator here. And output decorator, as I said, decorators are functions, so we need to enclose it with brackets. Okay, so what I'll do now is instead of console log on our on click, event handler, I will say that this manager.click event emitter will emit the following message that this is a manager. So now in our home.component file, the same way we created a custom attribute here to pass data in, we have created a custom event here. You can think of manager click as an event that we created, and we can use it in the following way. Okay, so you will see a similarity here. Manager click is the event that we created, and it's the same as the built-in event that Angular provides us, click. So we integrate in the same manner. And here we say that, okay, whenever this event is fire, handle it in our parent container using the onManageClick method. And this dollar event, it's what Angular provides us. It's a built-in feature. This will store our variable value, or in a sense, it will handle what we return back from
So
our
Salim,
image. Yeah.
when we have a word within parentheses, does it indicate it's an event? So you just had parentheses and you put a text in there. So is that the syntax?
This is how we can say that this is an event when we have
Okay,
in
okay.
parent. So it's the same that we used in our manager icon. So this one is built in, and this
Okay.
one is what we have customly created.
Okay.
Uh,
So whenever you want to work with events, either custom or standard, whatever is provided, we put parentheses and put a word in it. That's what you're saying.
yes, correct,
Okay.
correct.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So now I'll create.
I, I think I missed it. What is the dollar event thing?
So this is what Angular needs to handle the emit data. So you will see in our manager icon, we are emitting a value here, right?
Okay. Mhm.
So this all works internally. Event emitter, it just makes our life easier when we create events and all. So Angular needs the dollar event to handle the data that we emit from here.
So it's always dollar event that you put in the.
Yes, it's always dollar event. Uh, Saying that for now we are emitting string, but we can pass objects as well from here. Uh, can handle multiple data. So now here it's just one value that's been passed, but we can handle, say, a string, an integer, a complete object event. So what was it?
Is there a
Where
reason
was
that's using a backtick on that is manager string?
uh,
No, in the TS is a manager on line 21 that's using backticks. Is there a reason for that?
mm, no particular reason I might must have tipped, but the TypeScript supports string interpolation. So whenever we use string interpolation, uh, we we can use the backtick. So I can say something like dollar. I always get confused with this. Yeah. So I can pass a value here. Uh, I don't have any variables, so yeah, this one is.
It's okay. I mean, that's a JavaScript feature. I was just wondering if we needed to use that, but it's still just a string we're emitting because it's of type string.
Yes,
Okay,
true. Yeah.
thanks.
Okay. So now, yeah. Mhm. So we have integrated the event now. Okay, so now we need to add this method where we will handle our manage a click event. So that will be in our home icon. So what I did is I have added the method on manager click, which will handle the manager click event. And this is how the event, this is how event will pass us back the data that it get from the emitter emit, and it's of type string, and then we'll assign it. And for now I'll show it in the page title, and I believe I don't have that variable, the property. So yep, I will add it. Okay, and this should be already in my HTML page. Interesting, it is not. So yeah, so I just added the page title property, and using interpolation I will display it. So by default it is of empty. So if I now go ahead and click here, you can see the data that was in the nested component is now rendered in our parent component, because is a manager is being displayed in this page title variable, which is in our home component, and the page title is getting back the data from this message variable, which is passed to us by on manager click, that we handle the event, the manager click event that send the data, and this dollar event is passing us this data. And that's how we are able to get a data from inside our component and being able to display it in our in our parent container component. So do we have any question here so far? And you can get an idea how this child containers we can use in multiple places, like the way I showed you that I can use it for our case. I can use this simple icon here. So coming to, so, so since I showed you that here I'm using a custom attribute, so I can also use something which is built in. To just simply show you, I'll use one that is built in to Angular, which is the title. So now this will display as a title in the TD. Just to quickly show you. Here you can see the title is, the name is also shown in the title. So there are lots of built-in attributes in Angular. I just wanted to point that out. So this concludes the nested components. So I'm asking again if anybody has any questions or doubt regarding this.
So here for using at input and at output, we cannot use ng model in this case. We always have to use, because of the nested components, we should use at input.
Yeah, so add output is, yeah, good question. So ng model is when we work with, it's a part of form module and we work with forms. Even if in nested component we are using ng model to work with our form, but to send the data to our parent container. So I'll just show you quickly. So here you can see that this is our parent container, right? Home here. And the nested component is this. So in order to get the data from our nested component to our container component, we will have to use the output decorator. This output decorator, we must use it and we must emit it as an event. And that's what we are doing it here. Does it make sense if it's cleared or?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so Salim, maybe using ng model, although bad coding practice, you just define some variable at a global level and just update it, although it will mess up a whole lot of things, but that could be possible. But the Angular tells us that if you want to pass data around, we have provided a very streamlined, clean way of doing things, and please use input and output, right? But if we really wanted to break things, you define something at a global level, set it up, and have the other component pick it up.
Yes, Samir, you are correct. Absolutely correct.
Okay. But
To
that would
work,
be very bad coding practice and so on, correct?
uh, uh, yes, correct, because we can use a service and put the value of our variable into a variable of that service, and then we can call that service from both the components and we can share the data, correct. But this is in a sense, Samir, we are building, I keep repeating this because you can see we are building a custom HTML tag here, and every HTML tag will have some attributes that it will work here. So another scenario could be here I am passing a enum, and my enum values may contain some color codes, say red, blue, green, white. And then depending on that, uh, what I can do is I can change my manager icons color from here. So we are essentially giving the caller, which is calling our child component, the capacity to do a bit of customization. So they can pass the values accordingly, and by that we can give custom functionalities. We can add custom functionalities, and in the same manner we have events here. So we have here a simple click event. We can have a notify event. So whenever something change, we can send a notification somewhere. So
Got it.
that's the goal of like creating child components, and the most important is the reusability. So here I can copy this entire and I can use it in multiple places.
Sounds good.
Okay, so next I'll move to Angular pipes. So Angular pipes is something Angular gives us built in. Using Angular pipes, we can transform our bounded properties before it displays. So bounded properties here is that we render using interpolation here. So I'll show a sim I'll show some of the built-in pipes. And if you look into your code snippet, the number 6 built-in pipes, you can see I've used a few of them here. So first I'll show uh, the uppercase pipe. So using the uppercase pipe, what did I do? Yeah, you can see now my last name is entirely uppercase. So these are the small functionalities uh, that uh, that we do on repeated basis, and Angular really helps us to reduce the development time using pipes and all. So I'll show a few more here. I am using Okay, I believe I didn't add the currency model here. So okay, I'll simply put it here. So we have something called the currency. I'll just quickly go ahead. I think I messed up something here. Or I'll do one thing. Hmm. Okay, so I'll go to my service. Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. It won't take me long. I'll just add bonus 500 and so I'm updating my model now. I'm just adding one more property that is bonus. Say our employees are getting a bonus here.
Yeah, just change the values 5, 6, 7, something like that. So it's different.
Oh yeah, sure. 567.
No, I mean 500, 600, 700, something different. That's fine. That will
Okay,
work. That's fine.
okay. So I'll also need to go and change my model here. So if you remember that we create a model to work with. So here I'll say just type number and to quickly render it to our table, I'll need to go ahead and say go ahead and display the bonus property. So okay, so now we should be able to view.
It's still saying is manager twice. Okay, that's fine. No worries.
Sorry for that. Yeah. So now you can say I have additional column here which displays the bonus, but I want to display them in currency. So I can quickly go ahead and use a pipe here, a built-in pipe. And so now here I'm using the currency pipe. I'm passing some properties here saying that it will be in USD. I need to display the symbol and the decimal properties here. So here you can see Angular has easily added the dollar symbol here, and it has showed that last 3 digit. If I change a value here, I should add preceding zeros now. Yeah, so it's showing 4 digits here.
What is the
So
3-3?
yeah,
I mean,
this
I
is
understand one of the
how
three. One of them means 3 digits, but what is the -3?
uh actually I also wondered, yeah, why Angular pipes expects it this way. Very good question. I've I've never looked it up.
It almost seems like
Why
it would
it
be
is.
between 3 and 3. Anyway, I guess not that important.
I'll look into the source code of this and I'll find out and I'll share with you.
Okay.
Yeah, actually I have wondered before, but yeah, I let it go and never looked it in. So why it does like this?
And Robert Smith should get a larger bonus because he's a famous musician.
Okay, but I like
Okay.
Bob Dylan, so I'll add Bob
If
Dylan
anyone
and
gets that joke, then they're at least as old as me, probably possibly a little older.
okay.
There's no cure for being old.
Oh, well done.
So you wait till my next when I'm adding my APIs. I have named all of this after family guys. So Peter, Stewie, all of them will be here.
Robert Smith is the lead singer of the Cure, like an '80s band.
Uh, okay, I've never heard of Cure. Hey, but I'm a Guns N' Roses fan though. they are also from 80s. Okay, so uh, uh, let's manage. I got lost. Okay, so I'll create a custom pipe now. So something which we will need to use, and I'll use again the Angular CLI to generate a pipe. I'll just quickly stop my server here. Now I'll stop my server here. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I'm using Angular CLI to generate a pipe, and I have misspelled it. SHA quotes. What I'll be doing with my custom pipe is every string that I receive, I'll add quotes to it. I press enter, and this should generate a shared inside the shared folder a TypeScript class with the pipe decorator, and this name is how Angular will know that this is the pipe with this name. So if I go and show you in my home component, you see here we are using uppercase currency. So this is how we will use the codes, and this is the value that we will be using to transform, and pipes implements the pipe transform interface that Angular provides. So by implementing this pipe transform, we get this function that this interface defines. Here we get the values. We also get arguments, like if we like in case of currency, here we are passing arguments, so we can also handle arguments here. I'll just be working with the value for now. So what I'll do is I'll get the value and simply add quotes in front and after my value. So this is the value. So let me start my server back, and what I'll do, I'll go to my home component and I'll put my first name in quotes. Now you can see that John, Jane, and Robert are now in quotes. So you can get an idea how much we can customize our strings and reuse our pipes.
Again, Salim, in real world scenario, where have you typically used pipes? It's just for transforming strings, or can you talk about a few scenarios where you have used pipes?
Yeah, mostly Samir to transform strings, and very few times we need to build custom pipes of our own, but most of the built-in pipes do the job. Like I used it when we display currencies and all, and yeah, that's, I mean, like most of the time we transform our strings, and mostly in grids. Whenever we show data in grids, we use pipes to transform them.
So is it mostly for formatting the data?
Mostly transforming the data. A string, you want to transform it. Say you have age here, and for some reason, so where we are,
Times, yeah, sometimes I remember, when we have a grid like this and we have the name of the person, then we have address. Now address has address line 1, address line 2, city, state, zip code, country, and so on. So all that I can just combine everything in one string and use a pipe and show it under one column. Would that
yeah,
be a scenario
yeah,
where I can use pipe?
Or
yes,
maybe
Samir, and what?
if you're going to render dates to the screen, you could have two custom pipes, or at least use the pipe with conditional operators on them, so that it gets one pipe if they're in the United States, they're going to want the month first, and then a different pipe if they are in like South America and want to have the day first instead of the month first.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's an excellent real world scenario where we can use pipes.
Excellent.
So yeah, we have dates, number, currency. So we have built our own pipes, and yep, we can go to this link to know more about pipes. Like there are lots of pipes out there, and depending on our scenarios, we can use them.
Can you post that link on the chat for everyone? Yeah.
Should I be able to? Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So Angular directives.
Salim, I have a quick question, if you don't mind. So, are you aware of any performance impacting issues if we use pipes on the HTML? I'm just curious. If not, that's fine.
So see, front-end application, simple HTML and JavaScript, end of the day, right? Everything renders and becomes JavaScript and runs on the client's laptop. If our client's laptop or but in an essence, no, it's just basic string interpolation. At the end of the day, it transforms into a simple function which will transform a string into a different format. Yeah, I would say
Okay.
no, it won't impact much. But if we create a pipe with say 100 or 200 lines of code where we have put some logic, and obviously that function will take longer to run, and then that pipe will take longer to render. So if you're doing
Okay.
quick small things, it won't affect the performance much.
Okay, sounds good. I was just like trying to evaluate scenarios between, if I calculate those values backend and then just pass it as a value instead, but that's fine. Thanks.
Yeah, I understand. But if I suggest something and you guys don't mind, again, front-end application, no business logic should reside here. All the heavy lifting should be in the backend APIs. Send the data, render it to the HTML, and that's it. Like that's what my approach has been till now when I work with my team. Anytime I see my team members going and integrating much complex things inside an Angular, I'd say no, do the heavy lifting in your APIs. Let the real business logic work be done by, say, in my case, it's .NET, and in your case, it will be in Java APIs. So we should treat Angular as just something which renders data and gets the data from the user and interacts with the REST APIs. Does that make sense?
I thought of another
Yes.
great real world scenario too. In South America, probably in Europe, I would imagine too, and other places in the world, they juxtapose the comma and the period in numbers. The decimal point and the comma. It's another good international use of pipes.
Date pipes. I think if you look into the date pipes, yeah, so we can pass value expressions, we can format into the time zone local by default, what I'm saying, the default one does, and we can get the date pipe, and then as you said, we can go ahead and again customize it as per our need. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, thanks.
I'll just quickly share this as well.
It's kind of nice because habitually, I mean, specific application, I habitually would probably have done string formatting on the Java side, and being able to do it in a quick, easy way on the client side is kind of nice.
Yes, but we have to be careful. Like sometimes we think, like from my experience, I'm saying that what happens is that sometimes we are handling few similar kind of things in both the places. Say some of the developers will say like, okay, I'll send the formatting and in the API, and then you already have a pipe there, so those kind of issues come. So like I'd suggest, yeah, we should predetermine where we'll put what. So we'll do it in our Angular application or we'll do it in API. So that's just from my experience, the sort of issues that I face. Okay, so coming back to directives, we have seen that we use directives to attach behavior or manipulate behavior in our DOM. And we have three type of built-in directives. That one is structural directives, which uh, we have used now. We have used the ng4 structural directive and ng if structural directive. And there is one more ng switch, which to be honest, in real world, very rarely is being used. 99% of the time, we will be working with ngIf and ng4 when it comes to structural. And there are others also like switch case and all. Attribute directives, I have shown you. I have added the title here. We have created our own custom attribute directives. And then lastly, we have the component directive. And by you creating a nested component, we have created a component directive, the app manager icon, and also our parent container component we have integrated in our index.html page as a component directive. Okay, so now I'll move on to Angular modules. We have looked into Angular modules before, but what I'll do here now is I'll create a custom Angular module, use it as a container for whatever we created now. Because if you see both the pipe and the manager icon child component are shareable code. So I will create a shared module and organize our shareable code inside our shared custom module. Now I'll just refresh again what modules are. So modules organizes the piece of our application, the codes of our application like components, directive pipes into manageable blocks, and we can call another Angular modules from our main root modules. Now, using Angular modules, we can extend our application capabilities. When we used ng model, we started integrating forms module, which is again an external module provided by Angular, but we have imported it and started using all of its functionalities. And when we will create our custom Angular module, we will export it. So we can export our functionalities using modules. And Angular modules uses the ng model decorator. Again, decorators are just TypeScript functions. So to generate an Angular module, you can refer to the 8-number code snippet, generate Angular module. So I will not use Angular CLI here, just so that we again have the feel that we don't need to use the CLI. And not using the CLI initially gives us like, okay, we forgot to register our module, our component to our root module, and I'm getting an error. But that way, it's much better approach to learning Angular. So what I'll do is I'll go inside my shared folder. I'll create a simple TypeScript class, and I should name it properly. It's shared.module.ts. So I'll name it shared.module.ts. The double dots, full stops are just to follow our naming convention. So simple TypeScript class, give it the export keyword so that it's approachable by the other classes that wants to use it. Name it shared module so that Angular knows that it's an module. I need to put the ng module decorator here. And if you refer to the next page, you can just copy it. I am I'm doing control dot to import the ng module from the core library, Angular core library. Decorators are function, need to pass parentheses. Yeah, and Angular module, the object it expects is 3 arrays at minimum, that is the declaration, import, and export. So again, passing object to RNG module, I need to add curly braces, and I'll just compare it with our root module that was created by our Angular startup kit. So here you can see we have the declaration array, the import array, and so since this is not exporting to anything, this is the root module, we are not using the export array here, but as our shared module will be exported, so we'll need to add the export array here. So I'll just quickly copy them. Okay, so one thing that we need when we create our own shareable module is we will have to import the common module. If we use the Angular CLI, the common module will be already added for us. Now declaration. Declaration is where we register our components, pipes, and all, so that our module knows that okay, there exists a component or there exists a pipe. If you look into the app module, here we have already added app component. This is how our Angular application knows that okay, there's an app component, a home component, a manager icon component which behaves as a child component or nested component, and the codes pipe that we created. Excuse me. But there's one rule: a component cannot be part of two modules. So both of this, or a pipe cannot be part of two modules. So I have to remove it from here and have to register them in my shared module. I'll import them using control dot. I'll import the pipe. Okay. So if you're following the code snippet, you'll see that it in declaration it has declared the name is different here. It's a star component. I was displaying star and the codes pipe, and we need to export both of this in the export array. So if I go to my shared module here, inside my export array, I will say go ahead and export the manager icon component and export the codes pipe. Okay, so our shared module is ready. Our shared component and shared pipe are no longer part of our module. I'll just quickly remove this import references from here. And there are extensions which by default clears all this import. I have not installed that in this Visual Studio of mine. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and import my shared module here.
That's declaration, right? You have to do in the imports, right?
Oh, sorry. Thank you for that. This declaration. I have to do it in. I've done it in the import, but why I'm getting an error here? The error.
Don't you need to change the imports in the actual usage?
Import. Yeah, import. That was I was thinking. Mm,
Component. Yeah.
but this is inside home component. I should go here. Home component. It's working fine. It's there, and it built. And one more thing, I don't know why Angular. We are seeing some small issues in Angular 12 where for some scenarios where we didn't need to reload hard refresh, we are having to hard refresh our pages. We have this, like me and my team was discussing this. So now you can see we don't have our components and pipe inside our root modules, but still our application is working fine. It's behaving. It's displaying the codes pipe. It's uppercasing it, which it would do anyway because it's built in. Yeah, the icon is displaying now. That is our child component. Angular is able to go ahead and find our child component. So by using shared module the way we did in real world scenario, you can imagine we can first of all we can create shared modules where we put our shared codes, pipes, child components, and even more we can logically separate our applications where say we are dealing with products, and every component of products, every service of products goes into the product module, and by this way our app module remains very clean and it only integrates with the built-in modules, for example the browser module, app routing module, or the form modules. And yeah, I'll also, okay.
So is it best practices to keep the top level module more generic and to do most of the customization in custom modules? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, you're correctly. See, if you're building a large application, so say if I have somewhere around 10, 15 components that I work with, I will I will not go ahead and create a shared module or multiple modules. But if you have a very large application, lots of shared component, child components, nested components, uh, pipes, like lots of pages that you need to display. I mean, say somewhere around like say 50, 60, and you need to logically containerize them. Say, okay, we have 10 components that just deal with products and others that deals with orders, customers. Then it will be a good practice to create shared module, like modules for each of them, and then separate them accordingly.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, so
Salim, I have a question. Sorry, I have a question. So in the shared module, we still have to define the bootstrap or just in the main module, which is app module?
okay, so if you look at the structure of shared module, it will expect from you just the declaration array, the import array, and the export array. So that means it will register the components and pipes that you say are part of this module. and those modules may need some other modules that it needs to work with. There you can import them, and finally you can export so that other modules can consume your module. But coming to your question, when you say we need, so providers will be a part if we have services that are part of our shared module, true. But Bootstrap, we only use Bootstrap with our root module. So this is for Angular to know that, okay, home component is where we will land and render our first template. So we do not use Bootstrap in our shared modules.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So we created our custom module using a simple TypeScript. I'll quickly show you how we can use the Angular CLI. And I did not add the CLI command in the code. So ng gcm okay. Okay. So using ng, G is for generate, M is module. The mistake I made was I typed C, which is for component, and module, and then the module name. Here I have created a product module. Again, when I used the Angular CLI, what it did is it went ahead and added the ng module decorator, imported the common module, and added it into our reports array, and it exported the class. And if we want to use this as this without serving any purpose for us, we will just go ahead and import it in the root modules import array, and we'll say product module. So, so this concludes using custom Angular modules. And so if you guys have any questions or you want to discuss something.
A Salim, question here. On line number 17, when we are importing, is the order make difference of the?
So I cannot say no, but I would say it's better we go with the built-in structure. So I'll always put the browser module on top, because you may realize that that is one of the most bare bone module that Angular will need. And after that, I would say it doesn't matter. But since Angular module will look into the imports array and start working with it, so I'll keep the browser module as it is. And then after that, it doesn't matter. I can put it.
Okay, I'm thinking in terms of object oriented here, Salim. If I'm overriding some mistakenly, right? If I'm writing module, which is kind of similar to other one, and I'm changing the functionality, will it impact?
So coming to object oriented approach, you will not be
again the imports.
See, import. So this is just a JSON object that we are passing to our ng module function. Okay. ng module is a function, a simple JavaScript function. If you think a JavaScript, I'm not even saying it's a TypeScript function. It's just a JavaScript function. and this JavaScript function expects a JSON object. So here we are passing that JSON object and it has arrays inside it. So when you say overloading, I'm not catching you quite like.
Okay, so we are just calling the function basically. In short, if
Yeah, we
I
are just
summarize.
calling. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah. A basic function
those are
which,
parameters.
yeah. So
Okay,
you can see. I'll just show you a basic function, and
yeah, got it.
the intelligence will say you need to pass me an object. Okay,
Got it.
and yeah, and the
Okay.
object is a JSON with with arrays in it, and those arrays
Mm,
will contain the properties.
okay.
And okay, to your question. Uh,
Yeah, if we don't have any more questions, if time permits, can we create a custom pipe, or did we create one?
we created one, but if you want, I can quickly create
Okay,
one
I
more.
missed it.
Okay,
That
No,
was
not
sure.
an
the
issue.
quote when we wrap the quotes around the first name.
Okay, yeah, I missed it. Thank you.
Uh,
Salim, one more thing. We haven't received the recorded session from yesterday. I checked my email, the Gmail. I think maybe other people didn't receive that either. Can you send that to us again?
Samir can help you with this. Samir, are you there?
I got it on the Soham
Soham
Systems
email.
email.
Oh, I don't have.
The
Okay, I'll check it
uh,
out and I'll ask Samir to send it out again.
Maybe
Yeah.
we could actually provide a list of emails, which is where we would like to receive this, because I don't actually have a Sohum email, so my Gmail would be way better since I'm we solved it. I'm not Sohum.
Jared, check your recent email. I sent it to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Uh,
yeah, I checked my Soham email. I think my email was wrong in the list. I don't know if it was corrected or not.
Sarah, Samit told that he corrected, but we did not receive the second day recording. Samir told that he will send it today. He will share with us. Okay, once I receive, I will send it to you today's and yesterday's.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Uh, sorry guys, I can't see your names when you ask me question. So to address regarding the pipe, I'll I'll just quickly go over and again. So simple TypeScript class, we need to put the pipe decorator here. Name is the identifier which we'll use in our HTML, by which Angular will know that okay, this is a pipe. We create the class, we export our class, and then we go ahead and integrate an an interface which is named as pipe transform interface. And when we do that, the transform method is imported for, or it's rendered for us here. And inside the transform method, we get value, which is the actual string that we are trying to transform. We get arguments. We can put conditions here based on our argument, and then we can work with our value here, and we can change it as per our need. And to use it, we use this codes. So I have used it in my home component.
So how do you pass the okay, I think there is an example.
Yeah. So this is how we use the custom pipe.
So if you need to pass arguments just like similar to currency, you put double
We
colon and pass the
we use
values.
double colon, yeah, and then we can use the arguments. So these are arguments, and the interface gives us a way to handle those arguments. So here you can see we have arguments. This means this is a collection of array. This is a new syntax, and so we can say if arg0 do something, and this is how we can go ahead and put conditions of our argument and use the argument values.
Okay, thank you.
Uh,
So I
okay,
owe
guys.
a couple of answers, right? So one is about the email. Yeah, I corrected your email, so you should have received the invite, or sorry, the files for day 2. And then I've also shared, I've uploaded the recording for day 2 in Google Drive and shared the link, or actually Google Drive sends it out to all of the emails that I mentioned. So everyone, I think all the participants would have received a Gmail email to access day 2 recording. Is there any other question that you wanted answer for? Sarah, I did change your email. I corrected your email address.
Okay, thank you, Salim. I'm just trying to see if I can see that in the shared folder.
Samir,
Yeah, go ahead.
which email you shared?
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
Did you share to all the emails I in the list?
Yeah, to everybody. I shared
Okay.
it with everyone who also received the zip file.
I did not. We did not receive Samir. At least I did not see any email in my inbox.
Okay, let me check. Did anyone else receive email? I believe 1 or 2 people have received it.
I got it, Samir, in Soham Systems email. I got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, but for me, I didn't. I checked it again in my Soham. I didn't receive any email from Salim.
All right, so I'll tell you which email address I'm using for you, Sarah. Okay. All right, hold on. Do me a favor. Can you just type in your name in the chat box if you have not received the URL for accessing yesterday's recording, please? So I look into it right away.
And maybe your
Sir,
email too.
checking folder or are you checking the email? It's in the email as an attachment.
Now, there are two things. One is, Sarah, I send it to usda.gov email address. The zip file you would have received there, okay? And
Yes, I received the zip file, but not any recorded session from yesterday.
all right, let me take care of it again 1 second.
Maybe USDA email might have prevented it, Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay, sir, I shared it on your USDA email. Can you please check if you received an email from Google?
Yes, I just here I just typed. Can you see my email, my Soham email? I just sent that to you.
All right, let me share it even with that email address. Hold on. Okay. I share it with both your USDA and SOHM email. Anyone else who hasn't received the URL? I can take a look at it.
Salim, this is Kiran. Why could you send me the first day recording? I have the second day one in the email, but not the first day recording.
It is in the shared folder in Google Drive.
Oh, I don't have access. It says permission denied. I got that email regarding that folder, but I can't access that. Maybe Srini, you need to give permission to me.
I think I too don't have the access this, Jagdish.
Okay, I think Srinivas will be able to share it. It was uploaded. And from now onwards, I'll take care of it. From second day's recording, I've already shared with everybody. All right.
Samir, I did not see your email recording.
Okay, who is this? Can you